And this one is a competitive Viking-themed game that uses action movement for players to perform their actions. The way this works is that players are going to be taking turns moving one of the meeples out on the central board, and these meeples don't belong to either of the players, so players can utilize any of them, but there are some restrictions here because you can only move a meeple one space to an adjacent space or to the location at the center of the board, but you can't move a meeple to a space where a meeple already occupies, and you also can't move a meeple that either you or your opponent moved on the previous turn. Of course, a Viking game isn't a Viking game without a little bit of destruction, and this comes into play at the start of the game because you're going to be taking the 4 double-sided tokens and then just randomly assigning them to this board on the right here, and this is going to be dictating which of the locations are going to be destroyed as the game progresses and in which order that's going to happen, because as players are taking their actions either on the light side or the dark side of the board, it's going to be moving the associated token up the perimeter of the board, and once either of those tokens reaches their end, it's going to be triggering the end of the round, and then the associated scoring objective is going to be triggered with the other one being discarded, and then also the location adjacent to it on that board is also going to be destroyed. This is really fun because that location is no longer going to be available for the rest of the game, and also players are going to want to try and predict which side that they think is going to be triggering so that they know what conditions they want to achieve in order to gain the most victory points based on that scoring objective. But the different location actions can gain you all sorts of different resources or move you up these various tracks that you can see around the board. And rather than moving up a track, you can always choose to just take the associated bonus based on where your token currently is on that track, but this always resets your token back to the beginning. But the different scoring tokens could grant you victory points depending if you're ahead on certain tracks or if you just have the most of a particular resource. So players are going to want to keep an eye on that and try to predict what they think will be triggered next, and also try to make that happen in order for them to score the most victory points at the end of the game. And the game ends instantly as soon as a single player earns 9 points, or if that final tile is scored, and at that point the player with the most victory points wins. And if you're interested in this one, you can check it out. I will have it linked in the description down below.